What is up, my fellow Ojamans? Script J 1958 coming at you with another deck profile. Finally was able to finish my drytrons. So, I usually, if you've watched this channel for a long time, you know I usually prefer Rogue. I don't usually do meta. I will every once in a while. And this is a deck that I kind of liked for a while. Just kind of seeing the OCG and didn't realize it was going to be as good as it is. So, kind of picked it up. Took a little while to get those Novas. They were pretty difficult to get. But let's get into the deck profile. So we're running 3 of the Alpha. He searches you a Ritual Monster. And we got Zeta. He searches you your Ritual Spell. My personal favorite is Gamma. Gamma summons itself and another Drytron from your grave. And then we're running 1 Delta, which you reveal a Ritual Monster or Spell in your hand and draw 1 card. So it helps you get stuff that way. The way these work is they cannot be normal summoned or set. They can only be special summoned by the effect of a Drytron card. They tribute either a Ritual Monster in your hand or on the field, or another Drytron monster in your hand or on the field to summon themselves, and then they have their other effects. So it's all 1 effect. So if you're doing Alpha, you tribute, your Ritual Monster, summon him, and then you search for the Ritual Monster. It's all 1 effect. So you don't, they have to stop the summon or you're going to get the search, is basically how it works. That's how it works with all of them. They're all level 1, 2k, which is very important for the way that the deck works. We'll kind of go over that when we get into the spells. We are running kind of a fairy engine. So we have Eva. When she's sent to the graveyard, you banish two fairies from your graveyard and add up to 2 level 2 or lower fairies from your deck with different names. Petite Angel just helps you get into the Cyber Angel side. Manju, again, just helps you search your Ben 10, which is our most important one. And then 3 Orange Light. Just monster negation and fodder for ultimateness. Other fairies we're running is 2 Lancia, really good against virtual worlds. So pretty good if you're not going against virtual worlds. It's just searchable stuff you can add to your hand that will give you more negates with ultimateness. And then Dawn Knight, very important. We'll kind of go over the combo here in a little bit, but if this is sent from the field to the graveyard, it's basically a Foolish Burial for a light monster. And then because Drytrons are everywhere and Droll pretty much kills the turn, we're running 3 Drolls. And at my locals, everyone's playing Drytron or Virtual World. And then we're running Ultimateness, which is kind of almost our main boss monster. Turn 1, we're just trying to turbo him out with as many negates as we can. Turn 2, after we've negated everything our opponent does, then we're trying to close out the game. 3 Ben 10, because she is broken. Basically, if she's tributed, you get to add any fairy from your deck, not once per turn, and all of our Drytrons tribute from the hand, so you're basically getting infinite searches. Then we're running 1 Natasha. As long as you ritual summon her properly once, if she's in your graveyard, you can target one of your opponent's monsters, banish another Cyber Angel from your graveyard, summon her, and take control of that targeted monster, and it's a permanent snatch steal. So with 3 Ben 10, you basically can steal all your opponent's monsters. That ramps up our monsters. We're running 1 Drytron Medionis. This is the ritual spell. Basically, you can ritual summon any ritual monster with this card, and you use the attack points on the monster you're tributing instead of the level, which is why all the Drytrons are level 1. But this does require a machine. So your Drytrons. So anything with 2,000 attack or lower, you can summon with any of the drytrons. And then if you've used this once per turn, it's in your graveyard, you can target a drytron on the field. It loses 1,000 attack permanently, and you can add this back to your hand. So get to recur it pretty well. We got 2 of the field spell, sorry. So this is really good. It searches your Nova or your Meteonis. It makes it so your ritual summons can't really be responded to or negated. And then one of the really cool interactions it has is while it's on the field and you have a Drytron monster on the field, if a monster is normal or special summoned, you can have it lose levels equal to, I think it's every 1,000 attack that it has. Yeah, for every 1,000 attack that it has, it loses 1 level. So if you have that out and you know you're going against Virtual World, and you purposely leave 1 Drytron on the field, as soon as they bring out one of their monsters, you activate its effect, and it lowers the level by 1. All of a sudden, they have a level 2 and a level 6, or a level 2 and a level 3, or even a level 5. They can't make pretty much any of their synchros that they go into. So you know you're not going to get True King of All Calamities that turn. Then we got the 3 Nova, the most expensive card in the main deck. It special summons any Drytron card from your deck to the field. You don't get their bonus effect. It's just a special summon. You can only activate 1 per turn. And then if you leave it on the field, it is destroyed during the end phase. So you got to be careful of that, but usually that's not going to matter. We're running 3 Cyber Emergencies because all of our Drytrons are light machines. So, of course, we're going to run this. It's just more rotas for the deck. We're running 3 Preparation of Rites. Pretty self-explanatory, gets you Ben 10. And if you've already used Meteonis, it's in your graveyard, you add Meteonis back to your hand. So you can use it 3 times that turn, which is just broke. And then for the last one of Foolish Burial, just to dump any of the Drytrons to the grave, and Called by the Grave, because everybody's going to be running Droll, so if you are lucky enough and you open up your Called by and you start comboing, they Droll you, you stop the Droll, you basically get to go off. And that rounds up the deck. That is 40 cards. So for the extra deck, we're doing Link Karibo, Anima, and Almirage for our Link 1s. Pretty self-explanatory, level 1, level 1. This is for if you have to normal summon your Petite Angel, or there are some instances where you have like 1 Drytron and no way of getting any more searches, and you have one of your like Drolls. You can go into this, and that still helps you get into Union Carrier. Anima combined with another card that we're going to go over makes it so there's almost no zone that your opponent can put cards in that is safe. And then really any combination of like these 2 help you get into Union Carrier, and these 2 help you get into Union Carrier. So Union Carrier is very important for the combo. And then, of course, Union Carrier. I'm going to go into our Link 2s. Union Carrier, you equip Dawn Knight to it, and then you get rid of Union Carrier, usually with a Fusion Summon, or a Ritual Summon, and you get to dump one of your other Drytrons just to extend your combo. IP, pretty self-explanatory. And then, one of my favorite cards, the Transerver. What this card does is, if you have a monster in this slot and in this slot, you can just switch. So if your opponent puts, say it's up here, your opponent has a card in the middle slot, you put a monster right here, you can just switch them. So, and it doesn't target. So I've actually seen it happen where the opponent has a Dragoon in the middle slot, you bait out the negate, you get this guy out, put like one of your drytrons here, and then you just switch them. And all of a sudden, you have a Dragoon that your opponent can't do anything with, or can't do anything against. So you basically just took their win con. There's basically only one slot, or one spot that your opponent can put monsters in that you can't do anything to, and that is this one. So, on your side, it'd be the far right. If you drop that game 1 and steal one of their monsters, for the rest of the duel, your opponent's going to be overthinking and trying to figure out how they need to position things so you can't steal them, and what they need to do to make it so you can't really mess with them. And that's basically going to lead to more potential misplays because they're going to be overthinking. So you can actually get matches just from doing the Transserver once. So I love that card. And then we're doing our Nightmare package, one of each. You can actually go into those fairly easily and pretty often. I make Unicorn quite a bit, usually with IP, but it just helps you get rid of some problem stuff. And then for our Link 4s, we got Appaloosa and Boral Sword. You would want a access code, and if I was going to do access code, I would probably cut Almirage. I don't have an access code, and I'm not going to spend the $100 to get an access code. So this works out just fine for me. Appaloosa is pretty easy to make. It's really not hard to get 4 monsters on the field. I've actually done it to where I had ultimateness, and I had enough just doing my combo to where I could go into IP and still have 3 other monsters. So I just kind of did my combo, or did a bunch of negates, and with ultimateness, when ultimateness was out of negates, I used access or IP to go into Appaloosa, and then I had 4 more negates. I've also used her to push for game, because she gets pretty big with 4 material. And then for our rank ones, we got the Fuko and the Assembling Nightingale. Pretty self-explanatory. Fuko, you use 2. You can detach 1, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So really, if we get drolled, we're going to make this. Going to detach 1 on our opponent's turn, so it can't be destroyed. And then on the next turn, we're going to attack, and then overlay for Downard, and then go into Zeus. Lyrilusk, it gains 200 for every material, and can attack directly that many times. So usually you're making it with either 2 or 4 material. If you make it with 2, you're attacking 400 twice, do 800, and then Downard and Zeus. Or my personal favorite is when you can get 4, then you can attack for 800 4 times, do 3,200 damage, go into Downard, go into Zeus, and you have 3 Zeuses, which is a lot of fun. And then, of course, the Downard can just overlay it into any, I think it's rank 3 or lower, and then does some... Really, we're just using it to give more to Zeus. And then last, we have Zeus. Just Exciton Knight on steroids, because it sends, it doesn't destroy, and then it's a 3k beat stick after that, so it's really good. This is kind of like the alternate win con. Usually on my 4th summon, I am doing ultimateness, and then I'm trying to kind of control the game from there. So it's ultimateness, control, and then we push for game on turn 2. This is if that doesn't work for whatever reason. So that is the main deck and extra deck. I do have a side deck just based on my current locals and kind of what I'm seeing the meta shaped up to be. So 3 Ghost Bell. Ideally, I would want Skullmeister because it's infinitely better, but Ghost Bell will work for now. I have 2 sphere mode because I had 2 open slots, and this is the best I had. Really, Virtual World is the only ones that can get 3 monsters on the field, and that's only if they overextend. Otherwise, I'm looking at kind of other rogue decks. Ideally, I would want like Dark Rulers or Droplets, something along those lines. And then just a bunch of back row hate, 3 twins, because we don't mind discarding drytrons because they activate in grave. Cosmic in the mirror match, if you cosmic the ritual spell, they're basically stuck. The Mystic Mind players, you cosmic Mystic Mind when they have field barrier up, you can still banish, so it gets around field barrier, and then they can't activate Mystic Mind without popping their own field barrier, so it kind of screws them. And then just for those random trap decks. And then the last card that we have for our extra deck, or side deck, is 3 evenly, just to break the boards going second, because it's just an insane card. Evenly is so good. But yeah, that is the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. We've had quite a few people at my locals kind of honing the deck and trying to make it as good as possible and making changes to it. So the deck's kind of evolved quite a bit. We did take out Vanity's Ruler just because it's really easy to get around. There's quite a few cards that just negate its effect, and then your opponent can just play like it was nothing. So it's not as good as it used to be. It is still searchable. You can still main it if you want. If I was to main it, I would probably cut down... Let's see... I would probably cut down either 1 Gamma or 1 Prep. I really like Gamma just because it helps me get my field up, but those are the ones that I can kind of live without. So that's kind of what I would do. If you have any other ideas or any other setups that you like, let me know. If you have any other decks that you'd like to see, I have a few that I want to work on over the next little bit. Now that I'm actually, working again and stuff, I'm going to be able to finally start getting some cards and making these profiles a little bit more. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll see you guys later.